This is John Walton, and you're listening to the Power Play Point podcast with the Blue Liner on point and Anna Knox. Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And a hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Play Point podcast. This is your host, the Blue Liner on Point, talking to you live to tape from snowy Glen Burnie, Maryland. And we got the NFC playoffs in the background here, as does my co-host. Speaking of which, she is graciously consenting to join us for another week.
Oh my gosh.
Despite some, well, as I understand it, bullshit. Which she may or may not want to divulge. She's free not to divulge, but as I understand it, it's the cow manure, the bureaucratic cow manure we all have to face every now and again. And of course, that's the one and only Mermaid, Anna Knox. Anna?
Yes, happy Sunday, girl.
Happy snowy Sunday. Hey,
Yeah.
You getting the white stuff over in, or are you
They
still
are,
in that vortex?
but certainly not what was talked about. I laughed because I had my first, true Virginian parent moment when my son came home from high school and was like, "Oh my God, do you hear about this polar vortex that's gonna hit? It's supposed to be like, blah blah blah, and it's like 2 feet of snow and like 3 degrees." And I just had to look at it and be like, "That's so cute that you think that would happen in this area. It's so not ever going to happen." I'd be like, "Let me tell you, Hunter, when you were born, a couple, 6 months later, we had the blizzard of '08 or '09 or whatever it was. And that was a big deal." Like especially just coming from California. But now, I'm like, good old social media. Sorry to pop the bubble, burst the bubble, do whatever, but there's no polar vortex. So, I don't know, at least not in Centerville. Like I said, we're like in a portal. We never get anything. We have a couple, maybe an inch on the ground right now, but certainly not 2 feet.
I know in some places it might get plenty deep, but not that bad. So not here anyway. But some places you might get to snowman making level. Speaking of which, how come snowmen make the worst politicians? Because all their money's tied up in slush funds.
You're on a roll. You're starting with the jokes early.
Had to get that one out of the way.
But I will say, what Stephanie and I did yesterday?
What? How's that?
Do you know what Stephanie and I did yesterday?
No, I did not. I do not. I didn't. I was too busy reveling after a certain couple games.
This is before.
So what did you two get up to?
We went for our Bloody Marys.
Oh, nice.
And so here's my thing for anyone who's listening who enjoys a really good Bloody Mary. I know I've talked about this before. So she tried to make one at home today and had, the ingredients, and she was like, "Ugh, like it's totally not the same." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not." And then she even called the restaurant and asked, but I would love to know if there's any viewers out there, or listeners, people, whatever whomever you are, that have a spicy Bloody Mary mix that they enjoy, to share with me. It's not my new hobby, but I'm quite enjoying these at Cooper's Hawk, and then it's just delicious. So, but if I was to make one at home, sometimes people are like, "Oh, I use this and I use that." So please share.
So yeah, so the Mermaid has a homework assignment for everybody out there, if
do.
especially if you enjoy the odd cocktail every now and again. So if anybody out there can come up with a good Bloody Mary mix recipe, by all means,
Yeah.
please message one of us or post it. Feel free to post on the Facebook or
Yes.
email or however you want to do it. Yeah,
Sharing is caring.
both very interested in that, even though this is supposed to be dry January, but since
Oh,
we're getting
fuck that.
rain, sleet, snow, and all the other wet stuff, yeah,
Yeah.
F that for sure.
No, I just, just putting it out there. I don't usually ask random things like, although I do recall being sick a couple years ago and asking someone sent a hot toddy restaurant oh my God, I cannot speak today. Recipe. There we go. And that was fantastic. So now I'm kind of on this like little Bloody Mary kick, and I like them spicy, and I love olives. So if that helps. Anywho, all right,
Nice.
we ready? We ready to talk caps?
Yeah, that we can do.
Oh, sorry, you had other things to say first. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I was going to say fortunately, or well, in this case, unfortunately, and I hate to do this back to back weeks, but um, of course, there were some tragedies that took place this week. Two of them in the celebrity world. David Lynch, who's one of
Mm,
my favorite filmmakers of
yes.
all time, passed away. Blue Velvet. If you've never seen that movie, I highly recommend it. You will never ever forget it. Um, and of course, Bob Uecker. Um,
Yes.
everything I've read about him has put a smile on my face, and that's just the kind of guy he is. And he's also the kind of guy that never takes a whole lot of credit for everything. But now that I think about it, a lot of stuff that he did, I kind of, it might be obvious, but I kind of patterned myself after in, well, in interactions with people and when doing stuff like this. Um, so it's one of those things where the world is definitely a less good without him. But the one that really hit me hard um, was hearing about Ken and Helen Faber. Um, Ken was the away team locker room guy at the Giant Center, um, which of course is where the Hershey Bears play their home games. And he and his wife died about a week and a half ago when their home in Dauphin County, Pennsylvania, caught fire
Oh,
and was completely destroyed. And the official word is that they died of thermal burns and smoke inhalation. And that's horrible enough, but um, they as do all families, they had their share of expenses. So when I heard about it, I had to do what little I could. When I heard that a family friend had set up a GoFundMe, so if you want to check that out, that's still up on our Facebook page.
oh, good. Oh,
If you want to donate, um, and it's again it's Ken and Helen Faber, and just it maybe they were older, of course, but it's still
it
always too
doesn't
soon
matter. Yeah.
when no, right. And it's always, and he was one of those guys that he defined, what a locker room guy is supposed to be all about. Every every everybody I've asked about him that knew him, just always a smile on his face, kind, generous,
I was gonna
thoughtful.
say, honestly, when I first read the story, when you first posted it, my initial like thought that came to my head was jovial.
Yeah, yeah,
He looked
he
he looked
he
like that, like
looks
kind of salt of the earth
exactly,
and a
exactly.
jovial guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kind of guy you love to be around, you love to pal around with, and you couldn't help but smile just spending time with him. and like I said, a measure of a man is what all the friends you got and what they say about you
Right.
when you're not around, and like I said, all the people that spoke of him, um, not a bad word. It's a cliche, but never a bad word. Just absolutely loved him. He was full of joy, and it's just it's just such a harsh tragedy that somebody like that is taken away like that.
Right.
Um,
It's
and
awful.
yeah, but so we wanted to at least make mention of him and his family, and quick shout to his granddaughter, and I love her name, Canada Fauber, um,
Oh,
who
fantastic
who who
name.
was sweet enough to join our page, and she saw our post that we shared from the Hershey Bears Facebook page. Alongside the GoFundMe link, and she was sweet enough to go ahead and join us.
Oh, sweet.
Um, so now she's a part of our family. So if there's one good thing that came out of all this, it's that. But she went out of her way to thank us for posting that, and so I just want to give a quick little shout to her and say thank you for that, and thank you for your family, and we really wish and hope and pray that things will get better for you and yours down the way. But we miss your grandparents both already, and it's just awful. Nobody should have to go through that, but
Right. Agreed.
better
Condolences.
times ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, we're hoping so. Um, okay, so that all said, let's go ahead and get to the hockey. Good news: 3 games, 3 wins.
Mhm.
One of them came in overtime, and that overtime goal just happened to be the only goal in that game
By our favorite.
by
One
our
of our
favorite,
favorites.
of course, naturally. But the first game, that was not the first game. First game of which came this past Tuesday, the 14th, at home against the Anaheim Ducks. So let's quickly recap the scoring action. So the first goal came at 7:34. It was on a Jeff Jacob Chikrin shot from the left circle after getting a handoff from Nick Dowd. It actually touched the back of Brandon Duhaim's skate, so he gets the credit for it. His
Nice.
his fifth. Um, but Chikrin and Dowd, obviously, the assists on that one. So for the 1-0 lead, and as it turned out, that is all they would need. Because the Ducks would not get anything even of a sniff towards a goal. But the Caps would continue to pour it on, if you can call it that. John Carlson, about 7 minutes later, unassisted, and yeah, this one counts. So F you, NHL. This one counts. No goaltender interference. It counted.
Exactly. Thankfully.
Yeah.
God. The
His
fact that we
fourth,
even have to say that is like tells you how annoying it is.
ridiculous. But his fourth of the year, and obviously he was very happy about that. And then the last one, love to see this. Ethan Frank, his second of the year, second goal of the year since joining the team last week. Dubois and Duhaime with the assists on that one. So they both did their best to help him out on that one. Love to see Frank get involved, and he's just been what can you say? He's been a great addition, as I said, since he has been with the team. Third period was a shutout
Go
both
LP.
ways, and yes, Logan Thompson, the Stonewall, gets the SO for his first of the year, and 19 shots sent his way. He got them all. Again, for the shutout, 25 shots for the Caps, 3 went in. Power play, didn't do anything, but didn't need it. Thank goodness. 12, 6, and 7. I mean, this is, thankfully, this is one of the games where they played a lesser opponent and they didn't act like they were playing a lesser opponent,
Right.
which has
I feel
been,
like I went to a Ducks game. God, was it last year? And it
I
was
think it was last year.
awful. Yeah, and we lost.
Yeah,
And it was just like, the fuck? Really? Anaheim?
yeah.
Um, you just kind of had like that, like, okay, maybe they're better than we thought. And then with this one, I was glad to see that they didn't have that same mindset.
Yeah, they definitely had the killer instinct for just about all of the game and took it over, just completely dominated. And when Anaheim did have a chance, Logan was there for all the stops. So yeah, definitely. Well, I won't say a perfect game, but a very very good game all around. Um,
Good
and
way to
good
kick off the
to
week.
see. Good way to kick off the week. Good to see from our team. So the next game was a quick trip across the border to Canada, the capital of Canada. So you had Capitals versus Capitals, sort of. Capitals versus Senators. And hopefully the offense, the offense did indeed get filibustered by these Senators for at least regulation. No score, absolutely no score by anybody for the first 60 minutes. And much like which one of the games last week was it? Vancouver, I think it was the one that put everybody to sleep.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one I think did the same thing to everybody, and yeah. But fortunately, you didn't miss much. So that is until 3:07 into the extra session, where Rasmus Sandin recovered the puck and fed it to Ovi. And, Ovi skates into the left circle, pretty much his office, and slaps the old knuckle puck past the goalie, who breaks his record for 179th goalie. And the name of record, let me see if I can get this right, because it's another Finnish goalie, and we love our Finnish names here.
Yes, we do.
Levi, and I don't mean the jeans, Levi Merilainen.
Well, it's not as exciting as other names.
Yeah, not like like the guy in Buffalo, Uka Licka Tickle, Pickle Tickle. I can never say his name.
You and neither can Locker, so.
Levi Merilainen becomes the 179th victim in Ovi's star-studded career, and Ovi, of course, now puts himself 21 away from breaking the almighty record. Yes, we're going to mention it here because it's a little bit of a slow week, so we're going to mention Ovi, even though the team is not all about the Ovi record, and he'll be the first to say
Yeah.
that.
But can I tell you something?
Sure.
Since we haven't, we really have done a good job about not making that the focus, even though we're like watching it, of course, and couldn't be happier when he scores. So I know I've mentioned Stephanie before, and we have the tickets. We're going to a game for my birthday. I thought it was the 18th, but no, we're going like on the 22nd, I think, against the Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can I say, but Gil, like over our Bloody Marys yesterday, I was counting, we're like 20, I think it's 25 games out or 24 games out for that. And look at where Ovi is.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I was there when it happened.
Yeah.
Gil, like I honestly, like when she was like, pick a game, any game. And this was like when she had like 3 Bloody Marys. So I was like, oh my God. But it's the same guy that gave us the tickets from before. And I was like, I'm that weirdo that likes to sit on the end, and not only the end, but the also back row. Yay. so I don't have to like listen to people eating or whatever behind me. Yeah, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, I picked this game. Like, this is so crazy. And what if that's the game? But I mean, that would literally mean he would like, so he didn't score last night, but he'd have to score basically almost every game up until then, with the exception of 3.
Well, it's not as if he can't get 2 in one game or 3 in one game, and
Right. But I'm
he's
just saying, if it
still
was just one goal, but holy shit, like that's just insane. Like, I mean, literally, like we're talking about it and like, like this will be, just like upcoming, my birthday and all that stuff. And then I was like, hey, let's go ahead and pull up this calendar and see how many games we have until then. Yeah, like 24, I guess. Oh,
well, the
anyways,
Mrs. Blue
the
Liner in
chances. Yeah, go ahead.
Mrs. Blue Liner and I insisted, well, Mrs. Blue Liner largely insisted on making sure we could get to the March 7 bobblehead game, and that, of course,
Yes.
was the one where I looked at it. I looked at the pace he was on. I was thinking, okay, this might be witness to history, but yeah, I think it's a bit of a long shot now. So I think it's looking pretty good for you. It's looking pretty good for you, ladies. You might be witness to history there. It's
It's just insane. This goes like above and beyond a Bloody Mary recipe.
well, I need to ask you this. If it does happen, um, I need you and or Stephanie to record it somehow. I don't care if it's a pic or a video,
Oh yeah,
but
no worries.
yeah,
I won't
if
put myself in it, but I will record. I'll record that
that's fine,
definitely.
that's fine.
Yes.
And it's as long as we see something,
Yeah.
and if you're there when it happens, yeah, I definitely want that all over the Facebook page,
Gotcha.
like the snow that's falling in Philly right now. Good God.
I need that team to not win tonight. But
Mm.
anywho, different
Anywho,
sport.
so yeah, I mean, really, okay, yes, OV and the record, yes, great thing, but Caps winning, as he'll say many times over, even greater thing, and that's what matters here. So we're not even going to bother to go over all the stats. That's really all that matters. He scores the game winner, and by the way, that puts him one behind Jaromir Jagr for that record, this piece of that record, most game-winning goals ever for a career. So that's another bit of history to look out for. So that was the Thursday game, and then came last night. Okay, so I will warn you now, and I'm also Anna. You can add yourself to this as well because I know you were part of this. I will admit to some remote exercising from a
Mm-hmm.
ton of channel flipping because there was a huge football game
Yes.
on. And okay, so I'll admit, yes, mainly I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. That's largely where I'm based. But I did grow up with the Redskins, the old Redskins heydays. Joe Theismann, John Riggins, Art Monk, Darrell Green, all of those guys. Yeah, they marked my childhood as far as a DMV sports fan. So much like Anna's loyal to the 49ers because of people like Joe Montana, Dwight Clark, Roger Craig,
Tom
yeah,
Rathman. Yep.
Tom Rathman, guys like that. So you get the idea. Anyway, that's why I was watching, and Anna loves a good scrap, so that's why she was watching. Sports nerd, and possible holy grail football moment in the making. Boy, we weren't disappointed.
No, what a great game. And you know what? Like,
Unreal.
I love this for Robbie and Carol and what's his name? Kevin is it Sinclair, I think. He's
Yes.
their friend in Seattle,
Yep.
and just all of that has been great to watch because we've been on their podcast for as long as it's been so many ups and downs and everything else. And so I am not a Baltimore anything fan. But I will say, man, I was pumped for the Commanders last night, and I just cannot say enough good things about all the changes they have made. So I was kind of 80-90% watching that and 10% watching the Pens game because it's just not the rival it used to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it
gotta
is.
gotta say,
The feelings are there. Don't get me wrong. There's still like the feeling, but it's just not like, I don't know how I feel about Carolina or something. I don't know.
true, very true.
Does that make sense? It's like
It it
it was a big
it
thing, and
does.
now it's like, nah. But I went back and forth, and that was, it was an incredible win, and yay! And Logan Thompson is on fire.
Right. So full disclosure, yes, we were somewhat distracted during this. So I really love the part where Jaden Daniels scored the first goal. See what I mean? I meant Jacob Chikrin scored the opening goal.
I see what you did there.
Protus and Dowd on the assist there at 7:42 in the first period. Speaking of Protus, he would come back and get a goal of his own.
Yeah, I would.
His
I
19th.
love him. God.
Go, go, gadget legs!
Every time it feels like those guys, and I mean, when I say those guys, I mean the younger guys, Protus and McMichael, are in some sort of a funk or a slump. They come back.
They do.
They come back to prove you wrong, and both of them had a pretty damn good game this one here.
Agree.
So Protus's 19th would end up being the game winner. Dubois and McMichael, the assists on that one. And then Brian Rust. You hate Malkin. He's the guy I hate. This guy, because he's the guy that always ends up doing stuff like this.
Right.
Logan Thompson, of course, was in the midst of a very long shutout streak that at this point in time reached just under 200 minutes, going all the way back to the Nashville game from last week. Brian Rust, Crosby, of course,
Bitch.
was in on it, and Ricard Raquel. But thankfully, that would be all that they got. 11:29 of the third. Pierre-Luc Dubois, after the Caps got a power play late in the game, 17:50, his 8th. Connor McMichael, his second assist, second point of the night, of the evening rather, and that pretty much iced it. And then Brandon Duhaime gets the empty netter, and he was back by the 6-on-5 or 5-on-6 empty net crew, starring none other than Tom Wilson and Nick Dowd, Mr. and Mr. Reliable when you have 6-on-5 against you. Two guys. They should pretty much work for Progressive or State Farm or Farmers or maybe Allstate Farmers Insurance. I don't know. Maybe they'll, something like that. Because you, with those two guys, you got insurance. Is the point I'm trying to make here. And so thus ended that game. Caps get 32 shots on goal. They look pretty damn good. Another weaker team that they should have brought their A game against, and thankfully did. They even had a decent time at the faceoff dot, 54-7 win percentage, 1 for 4 on the power play. Let's take a look at the shots on goal. Pretty good, 9, 11, and 12. Kept up the intensity fairly well. Just great game all around. We were worried last week that given some of these teams have a subpar record, which Caps team would show up. Well, thankfully, the right Caps team has showed up. And now that we are past the halfway point, let's take a quick peek at the standings. So Caps are actually, as of right this very moment, on top of the whole damn league with 67 points, 2 ahead of Winnipeg for the whole damn thing. Even though we don't want that ridiculous President's Trophy, don't want any part of that.
Right.
That thing can go in the trash can and stay there for all I care. But Caps have a total of 31 wins, 10 losses, 5 overtime losses, 31 regulation or overtime wins, 26 regulation wins overall, a goal differential of plus 50, which is only 2 behind Winnipeg for best in the whole damn league. The best home record overall at 16-4-4. Only Carolina has more wins, but they have 1 more loss as a result of playing more home games. Don't look now, but look who's coming up on the radar as far as the playoffs. The frickin' Blue Jackets. Don't sleep on them. This team, you talk about being left for dead.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at them. They're the tragedy they went through. Look at them surge. So yeah, don't that's going to be very interesting to watch. That's going to be quite the interesting race there. The bottom teams there. Of course, you got Boston and Montreal not too far behind. Philly's still in it. Yes, the Rangers are can't put the toe tag on them just yet. Detroit and Pittsburgh aren't too far behind. The only teams I would say are pretty much out of it in the East at this point for damn sure are the Islanders and the Sabres. So yeah, quick look at the standings in the East. What the hell? We got a little time. Let's do the West. Winnipeg, as I said, leading the whole thing there. 65 points. Minnesota and Dallas, second and third in the Central. Vegas, Edmonton, and LA quietly having a good year. In the Pacific, Colorado, surprisingly, after that slump in the wild card race, Calgary 6 points behind them. In striking distance is Vancouver, St. Louis, and the Utah Hockey Club. Barely, but they're sort of in the conversation. And then pretty much everybody else is probably going to be making plans for a lottery pick at this point. Seattle, Anaheim, Nashville, San Jose, and Chicago are those teams. So if you're a Caps fan, you're kind of like a Commanders fan. You're taking a walk in the clouds this day. But as I said, we're only halfway through, and there's a lot of hockey to be left. And winning when you don't play your best is a good sign, or banking points at least when you don't play your best is a pretty good sign. But it's not like this team doesn't have problems to work out, but it's looking pretty good at this point. I still won't say Ethan Frank is the answer to the third line, but that line has looked a lot better ever since he's joined it.
Agree.
Yeah. But still quite a bit of stuff to work on. Hopefully Logan gets a rest this week. Charlie gets some minutes back in. I think he's going to be, don't be surprised if he's a little rusty. I think we can forgive him for that. Not sure when his next start will be, but that'll get worked out soon enough. So let's do a quick run of previews of coming attractions, pulling up the old schedule here. Okay, so next week and the week after, for that matter, Caps are going on an extended Western road trip, starting with Edmonton, 9 o'clock puck drop out there at the capital of Alberta. I believe that's capital of Alberta. Hopefully my geography teacher doesn't come up from the dead and flunk me again. 9 o'clock puck drop in Edmonton for that game. That's Tuesday. And if you on the other side of the earbuds and speakers, what have you, don't stay up for these games, I can totally understand. I totally get that these games can go into the wee small hours of the night. So yeah, you are excused. Not even going to get the Mermaid's permission on this. You are all excused if you don't keep up with them. That's part of why we're here, so that we can recap them for you. I don't know how. I can't speak for Anna though. She may take out the ruler and whack a few fingers if you miss too much. But
I'll behave. But I'm also off next week.
I see. Another band trip.
No, no, I wish. No, I just, Ian and I had plans with dinner plans to make with people that we haven't seen forever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go. We're gonna enjoy it. I don't want to rush the show. And then when I was looking at the calendar, it's like, and these are all super late games that I probably won't see any of them. So I figured,
Okay, fair enough.
Somebody else who's gonna stay up late and watch, go for it.
Or try to.
Right. The 10 o'clock puck drop is hard.
Yeah, that's not
A little
easy on this.
brutal.
Even if you have five cups of coffee the next morning, or
Right.
whatever the hell, 6 Red Bulls,
That too.
and a partridge in a pear tree, however you get through your mornings. But here's how the rest of the trip's going to go for the Caps. Thursday, the 23rd, 10 o'clock puck drop against the Seattle Kraken. First matchup against them this year. And then Saturday night, 10 o'clock puck drop against the Vancouver Canucks. So they will be in Janae's neck of the woods. I'm sure she's got a ticket to that game. Be interesting, see if we can catch up with her as far as that game goes. And then next week, 2 games rounding out the month of January. 9 o'clock puck drop Tuesday the 28th in the Saddle Dome against the Calgary Flames. And then back up to Canadian Tire in Ottawa, the capital of Canada, against the very same Senators that they got the overtime victory against, exactly 2 weeks to the date. January the 30th, that's a 7 o'clock puck drop, so that's a little bit more reasonable.
Yes.
Hopefully the result is also reasonably in the Caps' favor. And then rounding out that week, Caps match up against the Winnipeg Jets back home in the friendly confines of Capital One Arena. Maybe I need some Starbucks to get through this episode. And
it from the beginning.
Yeah, or maybe one of those Bloody Marys to put me out. I don't know. Who knows?
You go.
So that one's also 7 o'clock puck drop. That'll round out that week. I assume you'll be back with us then. That'll be February the 2nd.
Yes.
That we record. Very cool.
Yeah. Oh. It's this coming Sunday and then that President's Day weekend.
President's Day weekend, which will be...
So it's like the 16th or 17th or something.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're going away for my birthday.
I know, crazy. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go celebrate somewhere else. No, it's just Ian's family goes, and we all get together and usually do a snowmobile thing up in upstate New York. And I have not gone in about 10 years because, well, I don't like the cold and whatever else. But I have agreed to go this year, and they're holding me to it.
Oh, so you're going mobiling out in that stuff? No kidding.
Well, I probably won't. I'll probably just stay inside and partake in Bloody Marys, maybe.
Either that or some adult hot chocolate, or sure.
Something else, because the other thing is there's way too many clothes and it's too cold, and I don't enjoy any of it. And they're all like, I can't wait. Like, that's why I don't go, because I'm like, I can't even pretend to like it. I'm just like, fuck you weirdos. So, but I agreed after 10 years, I said I would go. So, yay.
10-year curse. Interesting.
Yeah, totally. 100%. So, I'm sorry it's over your birthday.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Your last year was the big one. So,
Yeah, no, that's I'm not making a big deal over 51. So yeah, unless it's
yeah,
Area 51, but
that too.
some people think I'm an alien. So we won't get into that.
Nothing wrong with
All
that.
right. Yeah, definitely. So I think this is a good spot to stop this semblance of an episode. So thank you, whether you be in the state of Maryland, Commonwealth of Virginia, the District of Columbia, or anywhere else in the world, overseas, over hill, over dale, over wherever. Thank you for spending time with us again. And a special shout to Commanders fans. Hope this next round of football games is everything you could dream of. But yeah, it's I technically, as I said, what's that?
Looks like they're going to be playing the Eagles.
Well, it's not over yet, but we'll see. We'll keep watching. But I'm technically I count myself in the Ravens camp, but I'm a DMV sports fan, and as I said, I grew up with some greats, cheering for some great Redskins players. But some gatekeepers would tell me that I'm not legit. Fine, whatever. But that's not to say I can't celebrate a great sports redemption story, and that's what this is. And I'm enjoying every minute. I'm going to enjoy every second of the ride as long as it lasts.
There you go. Me too.
All right. Okay. So we're going to wrap it up here for the week. Thanks again. So for the Mermaid Anna Knox, this is the Blue Liner on Point, reminding you that, well, I had a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, a guy who knew this guy, who knew this guy, who knew this guy, who actually knows Olaf the Snowman from Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
They went out to have a quiet dinner together, and well, Olaf forgot his wallet, so he couldn't pay. So when the waiter came by to pick up the check, you want to know what Olaf said to him?
Oh, tell me, Gil. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I'm sure you are. Do you want to build a snowman?
Hey. Nope.
Well, I'm glad to see you let that one go.
I did.
Hallelujah, and let's go, Caps.
Go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Power Play Point Podcast. Thanks for listening.